3 out of 4 this month. This week, last week of the month for June going into July. Could have made it 4 out of 3. I should have made 4 out of 4, but I passed on 11 o'clock Thursday because of the storm Wednesday night. They had my basement flooded, so I had to address that right away. Made sure that the water didn't get to the boiler. It was almost up to the boiler where the burner is at. But unfortunately, the only thing I have to use is not a sub pump, but a shop vac, a bucket, and then it's manpower up the steps and out the door. So after about 10 or 15 trips, you get burnt out a little bit, especially doing it at night before you go to bed. So I always do what my body tells me, not my mind. As you get older, that's where your disposition changes. Younger, you can do what your mind tells you because your body's going to respond to it a lot easier than it is when you get older. That's one thing you'll notice as you get older, that your body will not respond to what your wishes are all the time. So you have to control what you do and do what's best for you by how you feel in the morning when you do some heavy-duty work at night. And it's also a part about being retired. You don't overexert yourself that much so you're not in shape for them extra activities that might occur. In this case, the activity was a flood in the basin, semi-flood. This is the second one in this month. So it probably got something to do with that construction on I-94. Anytime you disturb the sewer system somewhere else, it messes up yours sometimes because it all depends on the law of gravity. With sewer systems, they run on the law of gravity. They don't have no pump forcing it out. It runs on the law of gravity. And if the other sewer system is not working like it used to, like it's been over 60 years since they did any major work on that expressway. Always been minor repairs. So now they're doing a makeover. And you upgrade the sewer system, and you're down there dealing with a whole lot more debris down there. Even though they be, doing their part cleaning it up as they go, but anytime you're removing dirt, and they're removing dirt in one area, they add another lane, and they add new sewer system, then you're going to have that problem. The possibility you have a problem. I never had that problem before until construction started on this bridge. So that's something to make a note of. In 2019, they finished that bridge a long time ago. The year I was born, 1956, 55, 56. So it's over 60 years old. So anyway, that's what happened this week with the food bank. I mostly hit Monday food bank, then I hit 2 monthly food banks. One was on Wednesday, Focus Hope. Another one was at this Catholic church on Thursday. So I hit the Catholic church on Thursday, and I was surprised that the lady that volunteered had passed away. So that's the second food bank I went to that somebody talked about somebody passing away. Third one this year. So that's what happens. A lot of times the people at the food bank that's volunteering, they are retirees themselves. And they are, some of my super senior citizens and definitely senior citizens. So they, towards the end of their life. So she had been out for a couple of months. I hadn't seen her for a couple of months. And then I went in this time, and there was a flyer. They made a flyer out about her passing away. So when we asked the lady where she was at, she just redirected us to the flyer. She didn't say nothing. That threw me off a little bit. Then when I read the flyer, I see that the lady that used to say that this death has passed away. And they put her name down. So you had to read the flyer to find out what's happening. They weren't saying it directly to us. Because I know they probably would have to ask that question over and over, answer that question over and over again. Because they only do it once a month per person, but they do it 4 times a month. But you only go there once a month as a person. So you can't go there every week. You just go there once a month per person. So I was sorry to hear that because I used to kid with a little bit, and she always asked me about what was happening with current events in the neighborhood as far as nonprofits, having the community events, and I would put up on what's happening with the community events, She never did come to any of them, but at least she knew about them. And she was curious enough to ask, what's going on now? And she would ask me what's happening with the bees. And I would tell her the importance of the bees. So anyway, that was worth mentioning that she had passed away with the Thursday food bank at the Catholic Church. So she was a Catholic, she's a black lady that lived in the neighborhood, but she was a member of the church. And she was a member of a Catholic church. So that was cool to know that, the Catholic Church is open to any and everybody, ain't no doubt about that. And you know that from their leadership nationwide, worldwide. Different races that belong to the Catholic Church, different nationalities, and etc. So that's what's been happening at the food bank. This Saturday, I got a chance to ride with a Tour Detroit. Last time I rode with them, I didn't know how it worked out. I've been paying the full price. I could have probably paid the discount. And then I was told I couldn't ride without a helmet. And I seen somebody riding with a helmet that was with the Tour Detroit this Saturday. But I completed the route even though it ran a little long. And then they rerouted it into the neighborhoods instead of staying on two main streets, which would have been Connors and the back street of Connors on the back side of the airport. So that's another street that runs on the back side. That was that French Road, runs on the back side of the airport. And then the front side of the airport is Connors. But they went off course and went in more so in the neighborhoods, which extended the route. The time out, and extended the tour out. But to me, it wasn't what I wanted it to be. But I did have a chance to ride down County Creek Greenway on the St. Jean side. We ran that from all the way through to Shoemaker. So I went through my old neighborhood. I went through my neighborhood I live in on Shoemaker to Cadillac. So I passed my street up with the group, and I seen a few people in the neighborhood. Unfortunately, I didn't make it to the neighborhood funeral that was in the neighborhood that day. One of my neighbors had passed away, that had a sudden death. It was the day of his funeral, and they had just came up from the funeral, and they were checking us out, and then I had a chance to wave at them. They see me with that group of bike riders, about 300 or 400. Majority of these bike riders that follow these tour groups that you have to pay to ride. They are non-Detroiters, and they're not saying they're mostly white people. The majority of them. As a minority group, we represented about less than 20 riders out of 300. But there was a lot of people that worked as sweepers. That was with the minority group. There was a lot of black people doing that. So, they're inclusive. They're not exclusive, that's for sure. But I rode with them this time. I finished the route and got my T-shirt. Last time I was supposed to get a T-shirt, but I didn't finish the route because I didn't understand what was going on, and I just abandoned the route. But I shouldn't have done that because I didn't get my money's worth. But this time I got my money's worth. So that was what's happening for this year, 2019. I got a chance to ride that. And then after this year, that street, St. Jean, will be closed for the plant expansion. So this is the last time you can ride it as a group. It will be this year. So a lot of people that was riding it was not aware of the plant expansion. But one thing I noticed that they ride at a certain pace. If you got them to keep up with the pace, the police will let you know that they will. They'll go ahead of you and stop. Go ahead of you and continue with the majority of the group as far as stopping traffic, and you be on your own as far as the traffic is concerned. There's always going to be a few people that's going to run behind. But I didn't have the right bike to really keep up with the group like I wanted to. But the bike I had, it worked out, but had some trouble with the handlebars. Had to learn how to on the way back, I figured out how to use them to keep them up, but they kept on sliding down. So I was riding in the position that I was leaning down with the handlebars. So it was different, that's for sure. So it had me looking very different, the way I was riding the bike. But anyway, that was something I said I was going to do. I did do this year. I got it completed. So that's one down with that. And Then getting the other rear wheel drive bike together with the extended handlebars. I'm getting that together this weekend. So I'm looking forward to riding it this month, which is June. So I will be riding it this week, not tomorrow to the Monday event. I will ride it to the Tuesday event for sure. So anyway, whether I do the PM, I'm going to do the PM and AM. I'm going to do 11 o'clock plus the after 1 o'clock Tuesday event. So I should have about 3, 4, maybe 5 stops to go to this week. 3, 4, maybe 5. We see how it go. We'll see if that Thursday event, they shut it down for 30 days, it's going to be back on. So we'll see about that too. Anyway, that's what's happening for this week. And it wraps up this month, which is the month of May. So we're going into June now. So, so far so good. So until we speak again, adios amigos.